Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
This episode should be coming out on New Year's Eve. So, from all of us, the next week of it being out, it's New Year 2024. It's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. Caitlin's back on. So for those of you who watched some of the original episodes, Kaitlin is kind of a bit of a co-host here and there.
Oh,
you pop up
I'm honoured.
quite frequently, don't you?
I do.
Today we're going to be talking about our courses. We're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions for the podcast, touching on the fact that my drama school has a 15-week first term for first years, which is insane.
Crazy.
A 7-week half term, 8-week. So I'm on my 8th week currently, recording it slightly early. And then, just a bit of a chit chat. So, if you've got a spare hour and you want to listen to this whole podcast, just stick it on in the background, just be us talking about things.
Yeah, whilst you're getting ready for your New Year's night out, this is the perfect thing to watch.
Welcome to the Movement Theories podcast. We hope you enjoy. How are you doing, Kaitlin? Are you all right?
Good. Yeah, I've already finished. Well, and I'm long finished by this point.
You know what? This is something that I'm not happy about. Because I started my course, we're both at drama school. I started my course, different drama schools, I should probably mention. Mine was at the beginning of September.
Yeah.
Yours was 2 weeks into September, wasn't it? No?
No.
Oh, wait, no.
No.
No, it was a month.
So I'd
forgotten about
my
that.
freshers started on the 23rd of September, but I technically fully started on the 2nd of October.
Okay, I had completely forgotten.
So actually exactly a month.
Yeah. So I started full course beginning 2nd of September. You're a month later. You've also now broken up earlier than me.
Yes.
So started a month later. When did you break up? Was it last week?
I broke up on the 9th of December.
9th of December.
But that...
Crazy.
My course and my I go to Central, where our term times are more similar to a normal university rather than...
Do you have semesters? Do you have... Is it very... how does it work?
My term was 10 weeks and didn't have a half term, whereas yours was 15 weeks and did have a half.
Yeah. It was a 7-week half term, 8 weeks.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That is
it's crazy that one of my half terms was nearly the same length as your full term.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been 8 weeks since we had our half term.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how many episodes ago that would have been. That would have been
8.
Thanks. I'm trying to work out which episode it was, but
Oh yeah, true. Very valid point.
What?
When this comes out, it'll be many more.
True. I need to realise we are recording slightly early, which is terrible.
It's not terrible. It's very prepared.
No, very prepared. Yes.
Yeah.
We'll talk about our New Year's resolutions as performers as well. So a lot of you watching probably don't know or haven't watched this before. So we'll kind of talk about as drama school students what we want to achieve next year. I've got a lot of things that I want to get to get it done, but also we'll mention kind of podcast wise, if you guys are interested in this as a channel, as a brand, what we're kind of aiming for, what we're hoping for,
reflect back on what we've done in 2023, I guess.
Yeah, because we've been going for over 6 months.
Yeah.
Now, which is good job. That was a weird high five because I clipped half of your hand with half of mine. It was a
clicky one.
It was like this.
Yeah.
But no, it was good. What was I saying? I can't remember now.
We're going to talk about the podcast, reflect on 2023, and talk about our goals for 2024.
Nice.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, loads of things. I've actually brought with you. I brought a prop.
You brought a
prop? This leads into one of my goals as a drama school student, and I recommend that every student does this, no matter if you're on a dance, musical theatre course, if you're an actor, whatever. One of these bad boys. Oh my days.
Do you want to explain what that is?
Yeah, so this is a foam roller. I'm sure you might have heard of them. And when I was a competitive gymnast, loads of the gymnasts would have these. And I was like, man, I don't need one. It's not worth the money. Now, 4 years later, I've actually invested in one. Best thing ever. And we had to buy them for a contemporary class. We're doing a rollout session. And so I was like, all right, fine, I'll get it. And then we did the class and I came out like a new person.
Really? Yeah. Was it that good?
Yeah, so he compares things like, I've got a massage gun. I don't use it that often. But our teacher called a massage gun like the cheat or the cheap version, like the cheating version of rolling out. He also said you're only hitting individual areas. He likes rollers because you're rolling out the full length of the muscle and whatnot.
And I guess you're using more muscle to roll out, I guess.
A lot of it is like body weighted.
Yeah, rather than like you could just lie in bed and go like
That's
that
true.
on your leg.
I found we started like top down. We did like neck and shoulders and arms and stuff. But when we got to doing our legs, a lot of our weight was pushed up onto our arms. So we finished legs and suddenly my arms are sore and they felt like they needed. So I might, when I do it to myself, do the opposite around and then do arms last.
That makes sense.
Because it does hurt your arms kind of doing legs sometimes. Anyway, the thing with rolling out, I'd been feeling quite stiff, and it's like basically a cheaper version of going to get a massage.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been doing it, and I've just been feeling stiff, and I've got problems with my hamstrings and whatnot. And since the first time I've done it, I've been doing it twice a day since, because my body doesn't feel right otherwise. It doesn't feel like it's at its optimum, because after I roll out, I just feel so much more energized and loose and able to, I don't know, so much better. I had a lot of tension. It really hurts when I do. Yeah, it's painful. But he says the more painful it is, the better.
Yeah,
and
so.
I mean, I hope so, because when I do my thighs, crazy. So, New Year's resolution that I'm doing and that, I propose most of you probably should do as well is try and roll out daily. Have a little look. A bit of an investment. I don't know, £15, whatever. Probably can get them for cheaper. Should definitely get one. Best thing I've purchased. And so my resolution is to do it, if I can, every day in 2024.
That's quite a good one. Like, it's a little bit self-carey as well.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
it's, you're looking after your body.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do so much on your course that like doing something like that is I think that's really healthy, like a good self-care ritual.
It's been what's got me through the last couple weeks of this 15-week term. And I think the reason they do it, we did some calculating in our acting lesson today. And I think it's because we get slightly less contact hours. I think like the average is like 30 and we get like high 20s. But because we have longer terms, it then means that you end up over the term getting more.
Yeah.
We worked out that we kind of got like 26 and a half a week. That was including singing and your 2-hour MT and your 4-hour workshops and stuff.
That's still more than secondary school.
Yeah, it's true. But I think we saw it somewhere saying like it would be 30. But I think it works out to being more compared to other places because we have longer. But it's very strict that it is like a 2-week kind of thing for Christmas. And my teacher was saying about how it's because they look at us as clients and they want the client to get as much because we're paying to go there. So as clients, they want us to try and get out as much as what we're paying for as possible. The only thing is I don't see any benefit in this last week, if I'm to be completely honest. It's just felt like every lesson is kind of pretty much coming down to the last of that lesson, and it just feels like we're just doing it to get it done instead of like doing it for we keep the ballet stuff, we're keeping that up, but it's I don't know, ideal world, it would be a week before Christmas, a week after Christmas, and a week after New Year's. 3 weeks, that's it. Done. Some places get like 5 weeks, 6 weeks, which is a lot. Don't get me wrong, it is.
Yeah, I'm quite grateful that. I mean, obviously mine is longer than yours, but
yeah,
I'm desperate to be in more.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be in all the time.
Yeah, and your first terms and stuff was a bit less, but apparently by the time you get to third year, it's like pretty much.
Well, third term,
all the time.
My third term, not third
term,
year. Yeah.
Third term, first year, you're in.
Yeah,
pretty much all the time.
So I do a drama, applied theatre and education course, so it's not a musical theatre course, which means that in some of my lessons are more traditional, like lecture style lessons with seminars, and then also kind of the practical classes as well. And so I do 10 weeks of lessons. My point just left my head.
You do 10 weeks of lessons and something else.
What were you saying? What was your point?
I just got distracted by looking at the audio to make sure it was all working.
Yeah, that distracted me.
Oh, did it? Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's
no,
okay.
that's really bad on me. But yeah, what is really really kind of interesting about Central is your structure is like a normal university because you have freshers and then you have
I was talking about term structure.
same lecture. You were talking about term structure.
Yeah,
Did I just remind you?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Why don't you continue talking about it?
So my first term, I was only in 3 days a week, which is crazy.
Yeah, that is
Crazy.
I know, man. 3 days.
But then second term, I'm in 4 days a week. And then third term, I'm in 9 till 6 every day.
Yeah.
Because third term, we get to do a directed project and take that on tour. So I will either be going to Cornwall, Manchester, or London, or like staying in London and doing one in London.
To be honest, I'm surprised that she got 3 days a week out of her course. Bearing in mind, your course is basically just made up. Like, the fact they've managed to pull 3 days worth of lessons.
Let's not.
No. You have a really good course. No, I love your course.
You've got a fan base from my course.
I do. No, it's true. The date course, I think, is really good. And I think it's what we need more. If you don't know, Caitlin's on drama, applied theatre.
I did mention that.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Again, I zoned out, making sure the audio was working correctly. As soon as this camera's not pointed at me, I'm looking somewhere else. I might not even be sat in this chair. I can't lie. I might have just gone. I think I've done that once before. Anyway, let me kind of go back to the point. Your course is really good because we need people to be looking at how theatre can become more accessible. Because if you don't have that, then all we have is kind of the shows that we have at the moment. And yet there's going to be tons of people around the country / world who don't have access. And theatre, like, someone was describing it the other day. And it was the way that the theatre makes you feel. And like doctors can make you like actually healthy and whatever. But theatre is there for like your mental health. You know, if a show is done right, you come away from it happy. You come away from it inspired. You come away from it wanting, excited with a passion. And I feel like if you can bring those feelings to all sorts of groups of people who may not have access to it, maybe different areas where you come from, or prisons, for example, it does change people's lives because it changes how they feel. It gives them a new kind of perspective. And so it's kind of like, as an audience, watching a show done right is kind of like your mental kind of health. It's kind of like how you feel, which is super important.
Yeah.
Because you can have a really healthy life, like healthy, but just be bored, just not be excited. Whereas, someone who might be having whatever, I don't know, medical problem, go watch a show and they'll be, I don't know, it takes you out of that space for a second and puts you into a new...
I think what you're saying is about escapism.
Yes, escapism. That's a nice word.
It's not, if you go and watch Wicked, it's not going to like cure you from anything.
Oh no, I hope people haven't thought I was saying that.
But
it's not a cure.
No. But
to like an illness.
It's just nice to be able to escape from life for a bit. And what I've really enjoyed about my course so far this year is that we've not just done like classic Rossini March, like do a play, do a musical, like, and sit and watch. All of the stuff we've done has been really engaging. We've looked at theatre. We do a lot. It's a bit of a running joke. We do a lot of asking, what is performance? What is theatre?
I like to ask that question.
Well, exactly. And that's
like, what the hell am I doing?
That's my whole degree, is like asking the whats and the why. So we always talk about, like, you like to ask your teachers why you do exercises or why you're thinking about this or why you're doing this, which is kind of exactly what we're doing. We're kind of nitpicking at like... So we studied like verbatim theatre, for example, but then we were like sat there talking about the problems with verbatim theatre and the issues, and we did a lot of analysis of like maybe how it can be quite problematic in certain aspects, but also how in other aspects it can be really, really beneficial and has some amazing kind of outcomes. And we looked at, my amazing lecturer, Sylvan Baker, has set up a project called the Verbatim Formula, and he works with care experienced people, and they write testimonies and speak them, and then actors put headphones in and listen to the testimonies and speak them into rooms of like social care workers or important people, doctors, whatever. So those children aren't, it sometimes, it was such an interesting thing, and we did a lot of demonstrations of it. And to have like an adult man speaking the testimony of a small, like 7-year-old girl almost gives you like a really, I don't know, it's something interesting to explore, and something that's really interesting because people are more likely to take him seriously and like understand, because it's more about the words than anything else, and people are listening to that, which is really really interesting. But I mean, that's like just one of the things we've studied. We've done all sorts of really interesting ways and different ways of, I mean, we've talked about more classical theatre and performance, but I've been able to experience some amazing pieces of performance that maybe you wouldn't technically count as performance otherwise. I've talked about our trip to Uganda quite a lot, because obviously education is part of the degree, so we've talked about working and running workshops
and how to educate,
and facilitating, and that's,
I like that word, facilitating.
That's what I'm learning to do.
And I'm not like I'm smart but not very smart, and so like I like words like facilitating because they sound like, I don't really know much about it apart from it's just like giving people opportunity.
I'll tell you what facilitating means.
You tell me what facilitating
have a
is.
definition.
Yeah, because I'm not that smart.
So we often refer to ourselves as facilitators, or training to be facilitators. So when you run a workshop, there is automatically a power dynamic between you, the person leading the workshop, and the group. Yeah.
Which I think that needs to be there, so that they listen.
This is what we discuss all the time.
But does it not need to be there?
Well, I think it naturally happens, but a lot of my lecturers go like he'll say, walk around the room or whatever, classic drama school. Yeah. But then it's like, but you will listen to me. Like, we are just people in a room. You've given me that power, and just by him having a title of lecturer, we all automatically listen to him.
Is that not a good thing if they've got something to share?
Well, yeah. But it's a very interesting dynamic. So being a facilitator rather than being a teacher, because you're not necessarily imparting knowledge in a workshop, you are facilitating people maybe being able to create a performance, or facilitating a conversation. It's a way of like keeping, again, I'm feeling like I'm doing an essay, but keeping a space available for people to feel comfortable enough to perform or to speak how they feel, and then often create something out of that, which is really interesting, because I have a couple of lecturers that would not use the word safe space.
My acting teacher doesn't.
Yeah, they'd call it a brave space.
Today he said, by calling something a safe space, it instantly becomes not a safe space, because you're saying that anything can happen. Yeah. And you don't necessarily want anything to happen.
So I have a lecturer who calls it a brave space, which I think is interesting, because, I mean, of course, you have to be brave to kind of come forward with a lot of things that you say, but I don't know, it has to be a space. Yeah. Our job as facilitators is to make that space available for people to be brave in.
I'd like to do some facilitating in the future. I feel like I'd be a good facilitator. Yeah. I've got lots of different like games and workshops in my head that I could facilitate to people. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not as easy as you might think. People might be like, oh, you just play Splat and that's it.
I love Splat. Sorry.
We have played Splat. But it's not, that's not the point.
There's a deeper layer to it.
Yeah. And we like, there are moments of it, like you do musical theatre degree.
Turned into a facilitating podcast. That's what the whole episode's going to be about, how to facilitate.
But you are on a drama degree, I'm on a drama degree. We both do like silly, like you walk around a room or you pretend to be, I've pretended to be a bit of seaweed.
I haven't done that yet.
But you've done silly things that sometimes you go, pretended to be a bird with the workshop. Wonderful, thank you. Yeah.
Our last work, there was dance. We were doing Lindy Hop, and before we were doing Lindy Hop, he was getting us to like dance, but with the idea that our arms were like birds' wings.
So you do things that
That's
like
not as silly as seaweed.
to some people. Well, we're doing contemporary dance.
Oh well, here we go. Then. Contemporary dance could be anything.
Yeah. So
Seaweed's
the inspiration was being a bit of seaweed.
Yeah.
And doing a drama degree, you do things that feel silly, but you do them and they feel silly, and then you like build the like technical skill of like dance or singing or acting on that. Whereas we do a bit of actor training, but we would go, okay, why are we doing this? What will it help us to do? What will it help us to create? Where could you apply this to, like, in a workshop, if we all pretend to be a bit of seaweed, what does that do to a space of like, okay, well, now we all feel silly. Now we've all been a bit silly in front of each other. Now we're all comfortable in a room, which can then lead to
more productive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think kind of it's the whole breaking the ice thing, isn't it? Useful. That was a very long segment, but
Thank
you know,
you.
Facilitating is interesting. I've just realised I haven't turned my tree on again.
I thought that.
If you have been watching, and they would have been all released by now, the 12 days of bloopers, which has taken me way too long to create. One of the bloopers was the fact I didn't turn my tree on, or it was included in that. So
because I wasn't here to set up today. That's why.
It's there for a reason. You know,
It's beautiful.
we might as well turn it on.
And it's
Going
New
back-
Year's.
New Year's, yeah. Going back to New Year's, you'd mentioned about verbatim and stuff.
Yes.
I want to watch some verbatim shows. Like
Yes.
I love West End shows. Obviously, musicals are the coolest thing ever. But I'd like to watch some more underground, like some verbatim things. I like to watch some pieces that are more, what's the company? Punch Drunk.
Yeah.
I like to watch more immersive theatre because it's just different and interesting. And
I've got a lot of things that we can do to.
well, I was going to ask actually people who are watching this if you know of any in London or maybe around verbatim theatre pieces that are coming out. If you know of anything that's immersive, you know, it's not as kind of spotlighted. Comment it below. Let us know. Send us a little message because I'm interested to go watch some things. And I think in New Year's, something that I'm going to be doing quite a lot.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. I think it's been interesting going to drama school and doing the course that I'm doing and coming from where we come from in our little like rural town is that a lot of my peers have come from places where theatre and fringe theatre and more like
I've never seen anything
niche.
fringe.
I haven't either.
it's
More like
crazy.
niche theatre is really accessible to them, whereas like, and they'll talk about the things they've seen at the National or like these incredible plays and musicals and all sorts that wasn't readily accessible to us because the things we could see were like all the big mainstream shows at, you know, the Hippodrome or Theatre Royal Plymouth or whatever, because that was that was what was closest to us.
Yeah.
And so that we couldn't access those like smaller shows, which a lot of people have seen, which I would like to go and see some more of because I think it would really benefit me on my course. But also it's just interesting. And it gives me inspiration of like the kind of theatre that I want to make.
Yeah. You mentioned the National. We've now been to
We have.
see
We went for the
a
first
show
time.
at the National. How long ago was this? Was this in? Was it Freshers?
No.
Was it later on?
No, it was like second week of October.
We've had some opportunities now, which has been brilliant. And so was it half term?
I don't know.
That might have been what happened 8 weeks ago.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What is your favourite piece of theatre you've seen this year? In
Oh,
2023?
I haven't actually seen tons. I've seen quite a few musicals, like theatre in general. I did like one at the National, but it was quite complex.
We saw Confessions.
I'll
Confessions.
think on that. I just wanted to talk about that. So I hadn't been before. It's brilliant now living in London. You get so many opportunities. We were just on a walk and we were like, oh, the National's up ahead. I was like, I've never actually been inside.
I hadn't either.
And so we just went inside and then just like asked the guys, like, oh, what shows do you have? And he was like, oh, actually tonight we've got this on. And it was the press night of this new show.
And I, that day, so I'd never been to National before either. And I, that day in my lecture, had been studying the National. And then she had recommended that we go and see Confessions, which is what we did see. And if you are a student, if you are in London, the National do really great deals.
Yeah.
We got £20 tickets. If you go an hour before the show, we got £20 tickets for best available seats. So we were in the fifth row.
Yeah, fourth row, and we just happened. We were just turned up in like, well, us as like just students
we've been to college.
I was just in a nice comfy jumper, or whatever. And we turned up. We sit down. It's press night, so people are dressed up.
Yeah,
I'm them a hoodie, like standing out. And then the couple that come sit next to us are like patrons of the National and had been having drinks with the director of the National. So we just get chatting to them, and like the man like is in full suit, you know, he's got a very like blinging watch on, and I'm there in a hoodie and joggers, like but they were very nice.
But we didn't know we were going to go.
No, it was last minute, you know, and good tickets. It was a good show. I'll have a think about your question about my favourite piece.
Can I answer?
Yeah, you answer. What was your favourite thing you watched this year?
The best thing I've watched this year is the Little Big Things musical.
I want to go watch that because you've talked about it a lot.
I'm going to take you because they're doing £20. Guys, it's their 1 year birthday, so we should go. They're doing £20 tickets. Cool. So I'm going to take you because I went for £15 last time, and I sat so it's like in the round, and there's 3 levels, and I sat in the third row of the bottom level, so literally like right by the front, and you have actors like come in, and obviously because in the round they're literally walking like right next to you, but it was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. The music was gorgeous. The storyline is about a young man that gets into an accident on a holiday, and kind of how it affects his family and how it affects him. And it's quite a sad story, but they tell it in a really uplifting way. And I cried like the whole thing. And me and my friend were just blown away. Like what really touched me was they used a lot of British Sign Language in their choreography. Nice. And we happened to go to a signed performance, and so it was really obvious, like the bits of British Sign Language that they used, we could see the interpreter performing as well, and it was just so beautiful. And what I also really liked, that I don't know whether this was like something they were really trying to promote, but what I really enjoyed was there's 4 brothers, one of which gets in the accident, and a dad, and then the mum, but they're kind of the main characters. But you really see, what I found so interesting was the relationship between the men in the family going through such a traumatic event, and it just said so much. Like they were very good at like their silences and the way that maybe men don't communicate quite as easily as women.
Well, yeah, it is true. Men around things that are upsetting or traumatic, I'd say generally do tend to be more silent about it.
But yeah, if you are able to go and see it, I would definitely recommend it. It was such a beautiful piece, and they're very good at they're always doing deals on tickets, but it's just wonderful. So I would definitely go and check it out.
We love a good deal.
We do.
Love a good theatre too. I thought of what mine would be.
Okay, go on then.
I was so tired when we watched it, and it was quite long, but I really enjoyed Noises Off. Because it was so funny, and I just thought it was so interesting the way they told.
It was amazing.
The story and like how the performance was laid out.
It was like, in three acts.
Yeah, it was 3 acts, so 2 intervals, and just if you're able to give it a watch, it's different. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was hilarious.
If you have a look on Today Tix, they do very good deals and lottery and things on there. You know what we've also seen this year? Which was this year, was that Punch Drunk performance. We've talked about that in a previous episode. That was this year.
That was last year, wasn't it?
No, because we went in the week of my 18th birthday.
Man.
I know.
It's been a long year.
It's been a long year. And
well, in that case, Punch Drunk was definitely... So...
Because you've seen Moulin Rouge twice this year.
Yeah. And Matilda.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So I really enjoyed immersive theatre, and the Punch Drunk performance was really good. And, like whatever that happened during that performance, like it was still really good, and I still really enjoyed it. But I did have a crying Kaitlin on my arm the whole time.
It was scary.
Like she absolutely, we were all wearing these like white masks.
We've talked about this
before. I've made fun of her before for it. And it was really sweet. It was really endearing, and I still really enjoyed it. It was brilliant. It was probably one of my favorite things I've watched. Full stop. I just hadn't realised it was this year. But you get a different experience when your arm is being held onto with a very tight grip. But actually, arguably, maybe a better experience because this really scary atmosphere. Suddenly, you're like, well, I've got Kaitlin McCann to protect and look after. So maybe it influenced.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I have a
trying to
lot
make
of
it seem
reasons
nice.
as to why that fright. It's not scary. It's genuinely not a scary piece.
No. No. Let's not, because it was.
It was a little bit. It's 15 plus, so
Yeah. Oh, 15. Blimey, 15 plus.
Yeah. Well, there is partial nudity
Oh, that's
and
true. That's
all
true.
that jazz.
I think
Fun.
the scary nature of it comes from their audio work and the way they create the sound settings, and that would probably influences. It's like in movie soundtracks, like you're listening to something and it can be spooky or it's like really uplifting.
But it's closed now.
Oh, has it? I mean, do you know what the next thing they're doing is?
I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye out. But yeah, it's closed. Really sad.
All right, a few more. Let's keep going with these New Year's. Not all of them with resolutions, but things that are coming up in the new year that are exciting or nerve-wracking or different. I've got one that is probably going to happen. 2024, I am most likely going to have to do my first stage kiss with someone I'm not in a relationship with, which is terrifying.
It is terrifying.
Terrifying, because he was saying that there are some options to like edit the script, but I'm realizing, but he told a story and it made me realize, he told a story that the last group of third years had been like cutting around some of the intimacy scenes and whatnot during their first year and second year and hadn't been approaching them. And then it comes to their third year show and they're doing Spring Awakening.
Oh,
and it's
gosh.
like, they've had no experience of intimacy.
And that's
in their
like
training,
all of the intimacy.
And it's like the most intimate. So it made me realize I probably just got to do it now so that it comes second year, third year, graduation, I'm ready. And so the script we are looking at is quite a bit of snogging.
Maybe we should talk about this.
Yeah.
I feel like it's quite an interesting topic if you don't want to talk about it, we can cut
No,
this.
it's fine. Let's talk about it.
But as two people in a relationship who are both...
with each other. Oh, if you hadn't realized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't think we've ever said it, but we've hinted at it.
Mental.
It's been 2 years.
Oh.
That's
so sweet.
We're going to get like fan edits. No, we're not.
No, please.
No, we're not.
I will report that to the police. I swear. I don't want to see a fan edit.
That'd be so funny.
Imagine
Can you
seeing
imagine?
that one morning.
That'd be
Crazy.
so funny. Anyway,
yeah.
That was my point. Was as two people who are performers, surely that's quite an interesting thing to talk about. Like we have been through it, and we are gonna go through it in life as like it's part of the job. It's like part of a thing that happens.
Our experience so far was A levels. We were dating at the time, and
newly
dating at the time. But our characters had a stage kiss, but we were in a relationship.
But also,
however, Kaitlin had to kiss the two other lads in the class in the same script,
and Josh had to sit and watch.
And I just sat there and watched.
But I had a really interesting conversation with a friend who is on my course and wants to study, is really interested in kind of like intimacy coordinating and that kind of thing, like in the industry.
Yeah,
and we were talking about that situation and about like different people's levels of comfort. And I think it's a really interesting thing. And my only credentials to be given advice is the fact that I've been through it and we're still here.
Yeah.
Is just to talk about it. I'm not trying to make this into a relationship podcast, but
Some people might like that.
You, in all aspects, you just need to communicate. You need to communicate with your real life partner and with your onstage partner, because it's like Adam said a few weeks ago when talking about hitting someone, what hitting hard is to one person is very different to someone else.
Yeah.
And so what might affect me and mean a lot to me might be different to what it is to you. Or say with a scene partner, what you might be completely comfortable with might be too much for them. And so you just have to be very communicative yourself, but also like between all members of people who are
the triangle that's been created,
and potentially their partner too.
I've run out of words. I think it's very true. The thing that I was thinking of was I haven't had like much experience with it, but from so far what I know, there doesn't seem to be like tons of discussion about or like around it, or like I don't know. I feel like intimacy coaching is like becoming more popular.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
whatnot. But I don't know. It just feels like stage kisses is just something where it's like it's just thought of as something you just have to do, and it's just like just do it. But I don't know. I feel like that is something like it is a really tricky conversation to have, and I just feel like it just gets looked at a lot as like you just do it. But like I don't know, as someone like in a relationship, like it is challenging, it is difficult. And I feel like a lot of the time it is just looked at as something that's just part of the job, and it is part of the job. But it doesn't make it any less tough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, definitely. And I think you have to kind of set what your boundaries are. Like I know when I did it with our lovely friends Jacob and Joe, which was a really interesting moment because
they were my two like close mates who like grown up with.
Again, I'd known Jacob and Joe since I was year 7. They were like my brothers. We argued like siblings.
Yeah,
and
still
then
do.
So and so to be in that, like put into that
it's weird
space, it's weird. And so I like set my boundaries of like, okay, I'm comfortable with this, I'm not comfortable with this, like immediately. And if that boundary was crossed, or if it looked like it was going to be crossed, they were very wonderful about it all. But if I was uncomfortable with something, I would put my foot down because I didn't want that boundary to be crossed. And I feel like that's really important, just to be like, it's okay to have those boundaries that you don't want crossed, and everyone's will it be at different levels, but it's okay. Like it's okay to have those boundaries,
and boundaries also change. Like, you can be fine with something one day, and the next day you're like,
and that's okay,
not feeling like it. And so my teacher was talking about creating quite a robotic process of like, this is this moment in the scene that leads into the touch of the arm, that leads into the crest of the head, and then that leads into a kiss. And it's like you can say for each of those processes, I'm okay with this, we're okay with this, okay with this, go to the kiss, maybe not today, we kind of move on. It's just like it's just part of it. So I think it's kind of important that some days you're okay with it happening, and then the next day you might be really, really uncomfortable.
And it's important those people in power, like teachers, directors, those kind of people, are giving you options like that, and having the dialogue around it is so important. Like I know that our teacher back home was like, do you want, like, would you like people to leave the room? Would you like to do it today or next week? Or we had option about when we were when and where we were comfortable doing, like, performing these scenes. And I know, like, we as a group decided what was best for us, and it worked. And like, we had a good giggle about it. And I think you've got to try and keep it as lighthearted, and like obviously talk about these things, like, and it can be very serious, but also trying to be a bit lighthearted about it is always fun. Like we giggle about it all the time. When we did art on Stage Kiss, I put it was interesting. The character, don't know how to describe it like YouTube friendly.
She was the lady of the night.
That one. And so I decided to wear red lipstick, and essentially just played a game of like, how much
can you go on my face?
Can I like cover Josh's face? So there was not a lot of kissing. There was just a lot of kind of like smearing.
Yeah, we didn't really actually kiss. You just smeared your lipstick.
Which was so much fun, and we had a giggle. And Josh didn't leave the stage for a long time afterwards. So Josh did all of these scenes with like red lipstick all up his face. It was. We had a good giggle.
It was one of my first like roles where like leading the story roles, and I've been speaking in recent episodes about how like I'm interested in starting to explore acting a bit more, and I think that's been one of my main experiences of actually like leading a show through. And it was so stressful. Like it was hard, it was hard, and not like coming on stage as the first person and like staying on for ages and like being a bit of a narrator as well.
Like, definitely. And in a promenade piece too.
Yeah, promenade. Yeah, it was. I'd like to do it more. And it's I've had one opportunity. I know that I've done it, so I know I can do it again. I think that the funniest thing about this whole situation is our drama class was made up of 3 guys, 2 girls. Kaitlin kissed all the guys as the characters that she kind of got given. The other girl in our class didn't have to kiss a single person. Got away completely scot-free. Which I just thought, like, just how did it end up like that? That like everyone else just ended up kissing each other, and then this other girl was.
I think it was strategic, and I think that's fair. She put her boundaries in place. Like she knew that what she was comfortable with.
It made me chuckle though.
And picked the scene she wanted to do. And it, like you said, it's kind of a thing that is a big thing to think about, but also, like, personally, of my boundaries, like, it didn't put me off. And so there were a couple of scenes. We did the play Road by Jim Cartwright. I feel like we should say that.
I was Scullery.
Yeah. I played half the characters, but it didn't put me off. There were some really gorgeous pieces of dialogue, and I could have gone, oh, I don't want to do that, but it was something that I was willing to do because the dialogue was, and the scenes were so beautiful. That
this is the same for what I've chosen, is as like each person in the class gets to email the teacher with their preferences for scenes. Now you might not end up getting that scene, but he'll keep it in mind. So the one that I've gone for does have a snog in it. To be fair, most of the scenes that have guys in this piece, we're doing Out of Love by Eleanor Cook. And there's a lot of kissing in it. But so the scene that I've chosen is the nightclub scene, and the character. There aren't many male characters in the piece. It's like it's two female best friends kind of lead the entire storyline. Oh yeah, I'm ill, by the way. If you haven't, yeah. Anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there.
My brain died. I thought, is her name Eleanor Cook?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was questioning it, but it is Eleanor Cook. It's Eleanor Cook.
Yeah, it is.
And so yeah, the scene that I've chosen or that I've asked to do just has so much like more depth to it as one of the male characters. I think there's like 4 characters who are men, maybe 5, but some of them just have small little scenes here and there. And anyway, it just gives me so much more to do, and it's quite difficult. And there's quite a few challenges, but I thought I want to do that. There's a kiss in there, sure, but that's not actually even an important part of the scene.
But like we talked about it, we decided like what we were comfortable with, and it's like it's whatever. Like we've figured it out, and so that's would be my advice: is talk about it.
Yeah,
and
Any more New Year's things? Because that was the New Year's thing that was happening for me. Well, I'm probably gonna have to do a stage kiss.
I think something that's gonna happen in the new year, or something I'd like to do in the new year. I would like to. I've been trying to get better at writing poetry.
Very nice.
Because there's a lot of poetry and spoken word that I've started to write in my course, and I've really enjoyed it, and so I'd like to do more of that. And I think I like it because there's some of them that like I can send to my grandma because she writes poetry, and I feel like it's, I don't know, I just really like that.
That's nice.
I would also like to go and see some more underground theatre. I know we talked about that. That would be lovely.
I want to get on top of my fitness, just throwing out there.
Me too.
Just some of that comes from the martial arts episode that we had.
Yeah.
And I want to get into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, even if it's like a month intense, but just general. We do pas de deux second term, and a lot of the guys in first year are quite big and quite strong, like you can see. And I just feel like I can't lift anyone. If we're doing like height to height, I'm used to like lifting my smaller partners. But if we're doing height to height, which is part of the ends of it, I'm going to need to get stronger. So that's going to be something I'm going to be looking at.
I would really like, this is slightly personal, but also quite fun. I roller skate for a job. I'd like to get better at I'd like to learn some more tricks. I've been practicing recently, but I have until March when it closes. And I'd like to get quite good because I'm actually finding that it's one of my most enjoyable forms of exercise. Like I've been working today, and I think I roller skated for about 5 hours in total, but it doesn't feel like you're exercising. It doesn't feel like I am essentially going for a run, but I was in the medics room the other day. I'm fine. Everyone was fine. But there was a poster on the wall and it was talking about the benefits of roller skating. And it has like 20% less impact than running, and impact can quite sometimes
shin splints and stuff.
Yeah, be bad, but obviously you're on wheels, so there's other dangers. But there's loads of real benefits to it, and I'm enjoying it, and I want to go and like it's quite fun. I've always been attracted to exercise centered around music, so dance, roller skating, workout classes that like go to music. because
Yeah.
I find that nicer. And so essentially getting to exercise at a roller disco is pretty awesome.
It's very awesome.
And so I'd like to get better at that. And also, if Andrew Lloyd Webber happens to see me and happens to want to cast me in Starlight Express, I won't say no.
Or even get transferred to do that show afterwards, because you're of a troubadour. You could get transferred to stay on for Starlight.
I actually had a discussion about that today.
Oh,
Yes.
Can you share?
Yes. Basically just saying, when it comes to March, I can make a decision whether I can either go with the roller skating company if they move, or I can choose to stay. I am officially staffed there, so my path is to stay unless I choose to leave. And I can either work bar or ushering or whatever. But I would love to stay. Unless I get hired to be in the show, because I can roller skate and I can sing.
You can.
So they should. Andrew Lloyd Webber, if you see this, if Andrew Lloyd Webber watched our podcast,
No, he's not.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that now.
Okay.
There's no way he listens
Fine.
to students.
Andrew Lloyd
podcasts.
Webber's casting team, if you happen to see this,
Yeah.
I will clip this and put it on the TikTok.
Go for it.
And I'll tag
Share this.
everyone. Share this clip. Andrew Lloyd Webber. It's worth a shot.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Andrew
Why
Lloyd
not?
Webber's casting team.
You know
Or
what?
en-
I edit these as well. I'm just going to cut all this out.
Rude. Caitlin McCann,
Free promo.
Starlight.
What is this?
Caitlin
Use my
McCann.
platform.
Caitlin McCann, Starlight Express, 2024.
Yeah, she's quite good, actually. Yeah, she's quite good.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I think, give her a shot, see what she's
See,
got.
if I've got the Joshua Cambridge seal of approval.
No. Yeah, you do. You've stolen my... Oh, we've got a camera. We have camera people. One day when we
It's
get more
usually me.
microphones... It has been recently, yeah. When we get microphones, more, that can attach, we're going to mic up our camera person so they could be more involved. At the moment, with the way I audio engineer, they actually can't hear you full stop now.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, just full stop, they can't hear you. The last episode, I did my bit bass boost and audio engineering and noise reduction and whatnot, completely cut out all that. Can you get your cheesy feet? They actually do smell. You've been doing too much dance today. You can get mine back instead. Anyway, let's keep moving this forward.
Yeah, let's
Anything
go.
else you wanted to discuss? Finance. We talked about finance beforehand,
We did
haven't
talk
we?
about finance.
Oh man, I've barely made it through my diction. I've barely made it through.
What we
But-
generally mean is finance, being a student,
Yeah,
specifically being someone in a theatre sphere, being a student, being in London more specifically also,
Yeah.
because it is expensive, and it's one of the things that often puts people off training in London because of the expense of drama school,
Yeah.
of, I know that we both thought this of oh, great, we're going to go and live in London. We'll be able to go and see shows all the time and whatever. But it really does get expensive. And, especially you're kind of more on the outskirts. So coming in
yeah.
is
I've spent
expensive.
£10 because that's my return ticket.
Yeah. And
I also just haven't watched as many shows as I thought I would.
yeah,
I really
me
haven't
neither.
seen many.
It's just, it's expensive. They're hard to access. It's, it's really tough because there are people that are going to be the future of these shows, and they're inaccessible to the people that
Yeah, and I think it's
want
really
to
good
see
that
them.
we have some programs, whatever, that can give you tickets for £15, reduced from 90. The only problem is that actually getting to watch that show and having the free time as well to go and do
And
that
the energy.
and the energy. Yeah, so many times I've been invited out to go watch things or to go do things. So many times I've cancelled because I just didn't have the energy to. And anyway, it's expensive to get there. It's the kind of whole day out thing.
There's a lot to factor
A lot of money
in,
factored in.
and a lot of, not only the expense and going to watch shows, but the expense of just living.
Yeah,
Of living as a student at the moment is so incredibly extortionate. And I work with a lot of people who are not students, and they just cannot believe the things that I tell them about what it is like to be a student in 2023 going into 2024.
and with the amount of exercise that I'm doing that comes in my course, I'm eating constantly, and food costs money. And if I'm to be
Crazy.
yeah, a lot of money, especially the way I eat, because I like eating
Yeah.
kind of really kind of good food. And
You're good. You know what? He's a good cook.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Very good cook.
Yeah, a lot of the food that I like, I will sometimes opt for something a little bit more expensive in terms of an ingredient because I know that it does actually make a bit of a difference. So I think every 2 weeks I'll do a shop that's like 60 quid, and then the weeks in between maybe like 30. So that's like £45 a week on food. And this isn't like takeaways. This isn't like McDonald's. This is, I go to Morrison's and I fill up a cart filled with vegetables, meats, tins of beans, like stock on my fridge.
Josh likes
and
to
I
bulk
consume
buy.
it. I bulk buy.
As Xander
I
pointed
bulk
out previously,
make.
there are boxes of like
Yeah.
milk and
Just underneath my bed.
no soya milk, not like
soy
cow's
milk.
milk. Can you imagine just having cow's milk under your bed? That'd be so grim.
Yeah, it's long life, which some people don't like. But anyway, I spent a lot of money on food. I was pretty smart. I say I was pretty smart. My parents were pretty smart. They made me
Creds.
work a lot over the summer, so I came with like a nice amount of money that I'd worked out gave me a certain X amount of money each week to spend on food and travel and whatnot. So I came with money prepared to get me through as long as I can. It'll get me through most of my first year, but not all of it. And so I just take out a set amount each week, and that's what I spend on whatever, and anything left over just gets added on to the next week's.
Yeah.
So it's like I've given myself an allowance from money that I earned over the summer that I put into a savings account.
So our point is, if you're going to be a student,
You should probably do something like that.
do some budgeting. Budgeting is so important.
We were just finishing up on things we were excited for New Year's, but you've got this. Will this be in 2023?
What,
Will
me
be
going
New Year's?
home?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're coming back before New Year's.
I
aren't you?
am.
So this is slightly cheating here. This is before New Year's.
I'm just excited. I'm excited to go home and see my lovely friends and my lovely family. And I'm so excited for Christmas. Do you know why?
Christmas is also this weekend.
It's Monday, isn't it?
Yeah,
Sunday's
Christmas
Christmas
Eve.
Eve.
it's
That's
this weekend. That doesn't feel
Wild.
right.
That doesn't feel real.
And
I think,
I'm still at college
I think that's
until Thursday.
I think that's because we're here.
Yeah.
And there's no like my flat isn't very Christmassy.
Mine. This isn't. There was a flat Christmas competition, and
Didn't even get
we didn't even
entered.
get entered. It's just
Um,
terrible.
But basically,
God.
I know how awful. Is
I'm
that?
really excited to go home and celebrate.
We didn't even get last place.
I'm excited to go home and celebrate Christmas because I'm excited to feel Christmassy.
Mm.
I'm excited to see my dog.
Yeah, Jess.
I should probably say I'm also excited to see my family.
Yeah, that's a pretty important one.
Love you, Mum.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that will
They know that I'm excited
Oh,
to see
that's
them.
good. That's good.
I'm excited to
See your friends.
see my friends.
Oh,
Very excited to see my friends.
I'm so ill.
I'm so excited to eat good food.
Excuse
You
me.
make me no. Okay, Josh makes me wonderful food. He's a very good cook. But I mean, like, I can't wait to go home and eat Christmas dinner. What's your favorite part of Christmas dinner? That's a real important podcast
Two
question.
things:
Good, that's fine.
pigs and blankets,
Okay,
because I make amazing pigs and blankets.
okay.
Well, I say that.
I'll take your word for it.
Well, it was at the Christmas dinner with the international students,
We had-
and I brought loads of sausages and wrapped them in bacon and cut them to perfection.
I'll
Second
take your word
thing,
for it.
cauliflower cheese.
Correct answer. Correct
Mm,
answer.
so good.
Cauliflower cheese is one of. I mean, that's so controversial. I bet there are some.
Is
people-
it?
I feel like it is. I love cauliflower cheese is because I don't eat meat. So cauliflower cheese is one of the quintessential parts of my Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
Oliver's face is disgusted right now.
About what? She doesn't eat meat.
I just don't like cauliflower cheese.
Do you not?
No.
Oh, it's the way my parents make it. My mum
Josh
is.
is lactose intolerant as well, so that's impressive. She makes a good one.
Well, no, it's my cheese, special cheese.
Oh, true.
Special cheese. Yeah, my
Can I try
parents.
some this year? Will you save me some?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Thank you.
My parents do a really good job making Christmas dinners something I like. Purely just because I'm not like a massive fan of things like that, and I don't like Brussels sprouts. But the way my dad cooks them with like these bacon bits, and they just become like this kind of juicy, meaty Brussels. I will actually eat them, and I quite enjoy them.
Can I talk about my favourite parts of Christmas?
Yeah, of course, go for it. You have a nut roast, don't you?
No,
Oh.
I've never had a nut roast. I don't.
I mentioned it before, I swear. Or
No.
you were offered a nut roast and you turned it down.
Yeah, I eat everything but the meat. My favourite parts: parsnips, roasted parsnips with like honey. Oh,
Nice.
cauliflower cheese and roast potatoes. My parents make the best roast potatoes.
Nah, my dad makes the best roast
When
potatoes.
I cook roast potatoes properly and they're freshly cooked,
Yeah.
banging.
Okay.
But
Okay, there's a lot of
Christmas dinner
competition.
ones were annoying.
Are they like crispy? My dad does it with
I love crisp.
he does it
like
with
goose
this.
duck fat or goose fat or something.
No,
That's
no,
what-
no. It's with a
Goose fat or you do it with olive oil.
no. Obviously,
We'll do
he
it
does.
with
Yeah,
olive oil.
obviously they're like crispy, but he does it with some sort of spice.
Ooh. Ooh. So you're gonna have to save me some cauliflower cheese and some roast potatoes.
Yeah, he does it with a spice that we grow in the garden, and it's
What, rosemary?
maybe.
I was gonna say that's quite normal. My dad also makes it with rosemary from the garden.
No, he uses some like really exotic spice that isn't rosemary.
Well, we'll see. We'll have a guys. Well, I know this has come out after Christmas, but at some point I will reappear and I'll tell you.
No, this is
about
her
my
last
roasters.
episode. Oh yeah, this is also our announcement that Kaitlin is departing. She's never going to come on again, so she'll never get to talk about those things because we're firing her. Actually, that's our news. As our end of episode news. We've had a good run. It's been a good try, but we just think our visions are different.
Your TikTok will not survive without me.
That's true. Yeah, I don't do social medias.
No, guys, comment down below. Tell me how much you'd like to keep Kaitlin on the podcast.
Yeah, how much do you value Kaitlin again? Who's actually watching 40 minutes in? I say that every time.
Roast
at the end
potatoes are wonderful.
They're never good.
That's
I don't
my
like
conclusion.
potato much, but I like a good roast potato. Mashed, it's all right.
Yeah.
Jacket potato, it's all right. Anyway, so this is like so sidetracked.
We're
but-
just hungry. That's what it is.
Yeah.
We're like, anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Well, this room smells of Mackey's because Oliver brought a Mackey's in, and now it just smells of.
We're
food.
excited to go home, eat good food,
Good food. Yeah.
have good times with good friends, sleep, rest.
Lord of the Rings.
I was just about to say that. Do you want to tell the
Oh
audience?
yeah, so some really exciting news. Now, a lot of you might not care, but for the few of you that do care, we're on the same.
Your
like,
parents will be
wavelength
watching
here.
this. They'll know.
Yeah, I'm doing a Lord of the Rings marathon, not with the Hobbits because
That'll be 22 hours.
well, maybe with the Hobbit, 20 hours.
Oh, sorry.
Actually, 22 with breaks. Maybe with the Hobbit, we'll see how we're feeling. But definitely the Lord of the Rings
Help me.
trilogy, and it will be 12 hours, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
I've never seen any of the Lord of the Rings either.
Have you not?
I've
I've
seen The Hobbit.
I've watched the first part of the first
First part, of the first
extended one
I've seen
Yeah.
all of
because
The Hobbit.
we watched it.
Yeah, I've got the disc, like the disc thingy, or like the chunk. Anyway,
We balanced it out though
I'm
because
making
we watched
Kaitlin.
we
watch
watched
it.
the first Lord of the Rings, but we also did face masks at the same time, so it was like balance,
Yeah, it was me, you, and your friend. We
It
were
was.
actually just,
No, we
Uh,
had a
how
wonderful
lovely.
time.
Anyway, so as a way of wrapping up this episode, it's a bit of a shorter one this time, but
We're hungry.
we're hungry. And also, who's got 2 hours on New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
Who
Have
even,
a lovely New
who
Year's.
even has more than half an hour? Little podcast goals.
Girlies are getting ready.
For those of you, pardon?
The girlies are getting ready. They've got
Yeah.
time.
Like 4 hours before people need to. Like, I find it crazy. I went to my friend's birthday party. They turned 20. It wasn't really a birthday party. And I thought I was invited to like prees, and she said just come for the prees. But prees was just them getting ready, and it was like 2 hours of just waiting for them to get ready. By the time we actually got to the club, it was already midnight, and I was like, this is when I'd be leaving. Which
And
maybe
that's
is different.
why Greta Gerwig made the Barbie film.
Was it?
That's just that's a running joke.
I haven't watched the Barbie film. Sorry, I'm so
That
uneducated.
is on my 2024 mission. Get
To make
Josh
me
to
watch
watch
it.
the Barbie film.
No, I will. 100% I will.
But,
Definitely. Podcast goals though.
The goals of the podcast.
Goals podcast. By the end of next year,
Okay.
in 1 year, we would like to hit 1,000 subscribers. So smash that subscribe button and that like button to make that happen.
And you know what you should also do that
What?
would be really nice is follow the Instagram and the TikTok because they are good and we provide lots of lovely content such as 12 Days of Bloopers, which have gone out, but you can still go and watch them.
Mhm.
It's still okay. They're still bloopers, even if it's not Christmas anymore. And, hopefully those do well. And we're trying out lots of different things, but it's just nice if you engage and let
Yeah.
us know that you're enjoying it because we put a lot of work into it.
Yeah. We also want to get Carrie Hope Fletcher on. Now that might
That's
not be this year.
2024 goal.
That could be 2025. But it's always a goal. It's always a goal.
Always a goal.
Yeah.
I feel like I owe it to Kaitlin back in June to at least try.
We want.
We have
The
some
pod-
for exclusive content. Is that we have some lovely, very exciting guests lined up for the new year. We have a drama
Yes.
school series that's going to come out.
Yeah.
As you will all be, maybe you can reminisce, or there will be an audience out there who are applying to drama schools who will have
Mhm.
gotten their results. We will have drama school students from across
Yeah,
many of the
like an
main
educational series.
yeah, many of the main drama schools in
Institutions.
London and surrounding areas. And, we'll get people's real experiences for you guys to hear
so
about.
For those who are interested in like what all the different institutions are like, there'll be a series out there. It won't be like each week; it'll be scattered in between. I think another goal is to get as many industry professionals as I can.
So if you're an industry professional watching
if
this,
you watch this and like you're in the industry, like hit us up.
Send
This
us a
month
message.
we've had 2. We've had
3.
Adam, 3. Tom.
Yes.
We've had Tom, who's just graduated. But we've had 2 who are like long term
Yes.
in the industry. Like this is like their full time.
And we have a few lined up.
potentially.
Yes.
Yes, we've had some interest. So that is our plan for 2023. Comment down below what you think. If you have any ideas for
We
us.
hope you stick around.
Hope you stick around.
And
Yeah.
thank you. You know what I want to say?
Big thanks.
Thank you for all your support in 2023.
Yeah.
You know, we've been doing this podcast for 6 months and it's been such a blessing and such an honor.
So many
And
opportunities
So many opportunities
and
we've met.
conversations.
Yeah,
people.
we've met some
Yeah.
incredible people and it's just been such an amazing thing to get to do. And I'm very grateful that, you know, you let me join the team,
That's all right.
get to be part of it.
I mean, unfortunately, this is your last day, but
Guys, please petition that this is not true. But I'm sure you'll see much more of us in
20 likes and Kaitlin will stay on the team.
I hope you see much more of us in 2024. We'll have lots of exciting things to do and who knows where this will go and what will happen. But thank you for all your support so far.
Cheers, guys.
It's been really, really good fun.
Yeah, good vibes. Loved it. Yeah, hard work, but rewarding.
Worth it.
In terms of like the people that we meet and the
Yeah.
conversations we have. So I think we'll end this on a happy new year.
Happy New Year. Have
yeah.
a good 2024.
Have a great 2024.
and
everyone.
subscribe and keep watching.
Future episodes. Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna love you and leave you. Because we love our
We
viewers.
do.
Even the ones that are mean to me. I still love you for watching this. And so yeah. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy
this
New
has
Year.
been the Movement Theories podcast. Signing out. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.